gang, just Aaron here, question period, Canada. Do you think, like Poilievre does, that Trudeau is a fake and a phony?
On this, like everything else, he is a fake and he is a phony. Let's go for the phony. Fake and he's a phony.
You're not allowed to say stuff like that in Parliament, but Trudeau is fake and phony. We will show you rather than tell you. This is the best way, like showing you Trudeau just being himself, being fake and phony.
Marika Walsh with the Globe and Mail. You just laid out the tough economic times that Canadians are facing. You say you're seized with the issue. Did you consider that backdrop when you decided to take an $80,000 free vacation?
As many Canadians did, I stayed with friends over the holidays.
After 8 years of this NDP Liberal government, it's clear the Prime Minister is not worth the cost. He gave us 3 different versions of his Jamaican vacation. First, he claimed he was paying all the expenses for his family's stay. Secondly, he claimed he was staying at no cost at a location owned by a family friend. And then he claimed that he and his family stayed with friends. Now, all 3 different versions cannot be accurate at the same time. Which version did he tell the Ethics Commissioner? Here, here.
Many Canadians don't have access to $90,000 free vacation. So can you just explain a bit more the thinking as to why you take these vacations and how you think Canadians receive them?
Like many Canadians did, I stayed with family friends over the holidays.
Mr. Back from his $80,000 vacation, which he got for free. He said, like most Canadians, friends welcomed him for that vacation. He took 2, not 1, but 2 private jets paid for by the taxpayer, burning 100 tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. He wants to tax the heat and the food of Canadians. Did he pay the full carbon tax on each of the 100 tons of emissions that he put into the atmosphere as part of his $80,000 vacation?
Poilievre puts a lot of insults in his questions, but the question was, did you pay carbon tax on the fuel that the jets burned? That was the question.
The Conservative leader has simply no plan to address climate change in this country, no plan to increase the resilience of our communities in the fight against climate change. Warming climate causes droughts. Droughts damage crops. Damaged crops increase the cost of groceries. And yet, the Conservative Party cannot even agree on whether or not climate change is real. Mr. Speaker, we will achieve our emissions reductions, all the while sending Canadians checks to help with the costs of rising prices. They're a real solution.
This one is just too easy. He walked into it. He had to muzzle a member from Newfoundland who called for an end to his leadership, joining another senator who did the same, because they understand that their constituents are literally starving and unable to heat their homes because the Prime Minister is quadrupling the carbon tax, doubling housing costs, and giving the worst inflation in 40 years. Why won't he listen to, instead of intimidating, his member for Newfoundland and put his leadership up to a review for...
So the question was, will you put your leadership up for a review? Do you think Trudeau's going to come close to answering that question?
Of course, of the fall, we've announced projects on housing that are going to create 500,000 new homes across this country over the year. We're working hand in hand with community leaders, with mayors. We're making sure that we're moving forward on the priorities that are facing Canadians. In terms of standing up for his caucus, the leader across the way will not even mention the fact that the person sitting 3 seats to his left dined with a far-right conservative German politician and wants to abolish the United Nations. Is abolishing the United Nations now the official position of the Conservative Party of Canada?
It seems like he thinks Canadians are stupid. The question was pretty simple, and that was a complete dodge. And what about this Ukraine thing? Why is the Ukraine more important to Trudeau and the Liberals than Canada? Canadians are freezing and starving. I don't know what's going on in that faraway foreign land, but it's far away and foreign.
Etobicoke Centre is right. Before the holidays, Canadians all witnessed the Leader of the Opposition forcing his caucus to turn their back on Ukraine. They turned their backs on fundamental Canadian principles and bowed down to the pro-Russian narrative. I know the Leader PIERRE won't change his mind, but Ukrainian Canadians across the prairies are hoping that at least some brave Conservative MPs will do the right thing and vote their conscience and their principles. Let everyone in this House who stands with Ukraine stand up and be counted.
Prime Minister has is a pro-Russia energy policy that forces the Europeans to buy their energy from Russia by denying Canadians the ability to sell our own. He prefers military equipment for Putin instead of paychecks for Canadians. He does want to export detonators and turbines to Putin so he can pump his gas and power his landmines. Why doesn't he stop using Ukraine as a political tool and actually do something to stand up and help win the war?
Ukrainian Canadians from across the prairies are begging their MPs to please stand up for Ukraine. Will they do that, Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming Ukraine free trade vote?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, on this, like everything else, he is a fake and he is a phony. Let's go for the phony. Fake and he's a phony.
The Ukraine kind of is far away and foreign, right? Like, is that just me, or do other Canadians disagree that it's far away, like halfway across the globe, and they don't speak our languages and they have different culture, far away and foreign?
Mr. Speaker, when the Leader of the Opposition refers to Ukraine as some faraway foreign land, when he continues to insist that all of his MPs, including Ukrainian Canadian MPs, vote against a free trade agreement that Volodymyr Zelensky is asking us to vote for to support Ukraine, he can't hide behind the kind of misinformation and disinformation that he regularly peddles in. It's very simple, Mr. Speaker. Will the members of the Conservative...
House Speaker Greg Fergus drops in there and bails Trudeau's butt out. But Trudeau is really gaslighting everybody that he's talking to, I think, except his Liberal caucus. They all seem to applaud.
Mr. Speaker, he could not point to a single thing that I said that was untrue because it is all factual. It is a fact that we already have an excellent trade agreement with Ukraine, that it does not include a carbon tax, and that there is no need for a carbon tax to be in any free trade agreement. In fact, there never has been a need for a carbon tax in any other free trade agreement in the history. But while he remembered a carbon tax, he forgot to include in the deal a ban on him sending detonators and turbines over to Putin. Why is it that he's so determined to allow Putin to acquire weapons and money rather than having a real free trade deal with Ukraine?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the official opposition has an opportunity to correct the record from him having called Ukraine a faraway foreign land by allowing his Ukrainian Canadian MPs, at a very least, to vote in favor of the renewal of the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement coming up for a vote in the coming days. It is an opportunity for those who choose to stand with Ukraine to stand with Ukraine in this House and be counted. Why is he muzzling his Ukrainian Canadian MPs?
Here's a short I made that kind of sums up this video in a minute. Trudeau is saying here that prairie farmers are begging for support for the Ukraine. I don't know about that. Poilievre puts him in his place. Fake and phony.
Ukrainian Canadians from across the prairies are begging their MPs to please stand up for Ukraine. Will they do that, Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming Ukraine free trade vote?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, on this, like everything else, he is a fake and he is a phony. Let's go for the phony. Fake and he's a phony.
It seems these days you're not allowed to speak the truth in Parliament. Poilievre got shut down by Mr. Speaker. We'll do a story on that. Like and subscribe. Canadian politics, right here. We're just about ready to wrap up the video. That's a lot of evidence that Trudeau is fake and phony. There's going to be more. We'll be doing more videos like this one that show. I just want Canadians to see it because I know they can make up their own minds, but they need to see it because a lot of people don't watch politics, and we're trying to present that in a way that's more appealing. I'm just a guy at the grocery store that cares for the people in front and behind me in the line about how much they're being ripped off by the grocery stores. This inflation is that nobody has anywhere to live. Like, these taxes are ridiculous. We have some things that people are needing to be aware of, and we're learning about them here. We know most of the politicians by now, all the big players for sure. My name's Aaron. This is Question Period Canada. Like and subscribe. Have something healthy to eat today, and do your best to stay warm. We'll catch you next video.